last week, you know. Number the Ababi
Burkina Faso.
Patrai.
Okay.
You enjoy the phone of Mukodija Sebi. Fufi Antuata. Omukushia Omakuinshi Wuno.
Okay. My NTN Kakra, ya born tough mine. Why?
Of most we need to crown.
And you to crown manager home. Common na catch the deal. Any assembly that honor may pesi a trimu kakra.
Of us, I will bring Pumbia Petocruana.
Common dear, and yet to crow home common dear. To crony and fat to home, I want in common.
But for so need you home.
Minima seminar will come. Over top of the morning now. Because you real one near upon straight.
Of our extras in Indian common.
You make candy area can you?
Of our landwater, near me see war, Titao. That's the northern side of Burkina Faso, Abra. Na Ejedifono, Ekwakofa, Sebi tomatoes, Diaba, Yame Moababeton, Diama, or my Ghana. Na Yanzu Timia consuming, or Mutimi Ikushia, or Makwenshi, will offer. It has actually exposed how we depend on some of these neighboring countries for vegetables. And also, it has also exposed our national security as a country currently, as we speak. Offer. August Moho, in your Minister of Defense. Right now, as we speak, Nipa O taking care of the Ministry of Defense, he doubles as a Minister of Finance, and then the Jumano Ayudua tax rule, or her isi kasemso, or sanso her bambo insensemso, which is not good for our country, Ghana. A country like Ghana, that we are having a minister taking care of our finance and also taking care of our defense is not good. Of our the intermakers said, since when did we started to make sure say almost basic commodities are ye consuming a way memono? It is import-driven commodities at Tembiano, ye cry the free baby and the aba. Or we can talk about tomatoes, we can talk about onions, we can talk about garlic, we can talk about pepper. Almost the essential vegetables at Tembiano, a consumable. Ah, ye di away dada sit nemono. Or my Ghana ain't me in the be nemono, ye tisika. Close to about $51.2 billion over last 2 years. So we check it, the annual expenditure you're spending in only import-driven commodities that you're crowded by a memoir. Close to about $51.2 million and you're crowded by. And then it is costing much of this particular country. Offer, Osha Ghana, your rain map, and also your tropical rainforest map, now, we have close to about 3,312 kilometers. It is actually huge. It is huge to the extent says I don't think so Burkina Faso tomatoes, onion, and other things that can even be compared to Ghana. Nigeria cannot compare their tropical rainforest in terms of largeness. No, they cannot compare it to Ghana. We cannot compare ourselves to Niger because Niger found Yenusa. Ghana is actually having 3,312 kilometers when it comes to tropical rainforest. But yes, still, because of the government, any year or more dreams or more bois farmers no krumha. Na ya boa more and make sure say more farm input, we will feed them with a lot of investment, and then irrigation problems are Stembian farmers no ekan wasam. We will feed them and make sure say they can easily do their work just to make sure say nyama no mudriano, by no mudriano, we will have Ghanaians that they will consume into our and then we are applying our hope in most of the war-torn zones are. Saying Jenny for no cocodigana so mobile near Twasho, Musunia Kunkumo, Nano, Danipa 8 Neu. I heard a lot of interview together with a large Muntaka saying, say, in Crofono, you see, remains, no, they are bringing it back to Ghana so that the families of these the families of these people no, will attest through DNA, say, we know a Yomudia and answer Yomudi offer. The America question say, the government of our country, the people of our country, or mining Hamo. It was since 1960s. And Kwame Nkrumah served dream of developing this country through industrialization method. It is also Paulugua or making sure that area only. Some of the activities that the farmers over there no involve themselves in tomato farming. It will be a factory over there. Currently as we speak, factory at Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Boke CEO Honomono, Sisiamino Kase Enyejuma. It was 2015. And John Dramani Mahama, 15 million Ghana cedis, investing in that particular factory. And then also invested in the farming activities so that the irrigation system and other farming input and logistics are farmers. He provided all of these things for these farmers and provided a little bit of cash to this particular Palugu factory, but currently as you speak, of an Enye Juma. When you go to Akomadan is notably known. So when you talk about tomato production, Akomadan can once a man could be no could be a casa, but offer tomato factory Akomadan, but I say Aquacusi saying the tomato farmers no more or more at the saying. When you go to Wenchi, when you go to Insawam, tomato farmers and tomato factories say offer. We are not able to do it very well. Offer in 2021. Now the Danko for the etisika close to about $21.2 million. And making sure say one particular factory or mutimi import Gino any promote tomato paste now, he will make sure say at Insawam will be developing a particular factory, and that factory will serve as a secondary processing factor. Since never ya sa factory no ebe sanso generate revenue e dey am my Ghana of as esika no mo dey factory no akwakosi saying Ghana ba betu imrebia we go to Nigeria just to import onion, but meanwhile we have fertile lands over here that these fertile lands can easily produce us with these onions, can produce us with carrots. Okwa Sante Mampona, one of the main opportunities, one of the main activities in the Sante Mampon area, a carrot, offer cabbage and carrots. But bisa who say government no enya sign any that so hunu say obeko honum akwa investing in this particular farm people are now. No, he's not investing over there. It's tembiano. Yen business women, yen businessmen no etu kwan ekofa in toast. Every Burkina no mo diaba. Omoko Nigeria, Mokofa Jane, no diaba. Omoko Niger, no Mokofa, Jane, no diaba. They go to these neighboring countries just to import these vegetables to come into our country, which is not good as a country. It's a kwako say, young man, we don't have that kind of boldness. Say, to me, Edria baby, not the self people you're patronizing most of these products near farmers, and even we will have our secondary factories and also processing most of these vegetables, and so the offer. We don't have that thing. Into Omaya Timbiano, you apply to your hope. You apply to your hope in a war-torn zone countries, no. Timbiano, human life and a cost. It's not what that you need to see, I am here because of say so-called Eastern regional. The Nibi Power didn't want a friend of Constance, because of so-called Eastern regional, or you did it for him. In toast him out, he has a family to feed, and because of our ignorance, because of quiet fashion, these traders actually monkwa. Meanwhile, we have beautiful farmers over here. We have fertile lands over here that we can use to feed ourselves over here. And you call Burkina na you call offer. In last 2 years, and Ibrahim Troy making sure so obviously 2 processing factories, tomato factories. Baku in Dalu. And this factory will serve as a generation of revenue. And a Ghana call tomato paste from Burkina Faso into Ghana. Omana kwa do baby. Even in so crampono ebetom rebeba in so humbaye this year cry in so e the free baby the back because all our water bodies over here has been destroyed through galamsey. And as a farmers no crampo e pensuo e de ye kria your crampo a this omo bre because these water bodies no contains toxic chemicals and them no galamsey for na say so no. Of for me this sound come way no. The entire me feel say it sounds so threatening your national security as a country ni. Of our so-called borderlines, Ghana is in a particular shape. When you go to the north, we have that borderline with Burkina Faso. In the eastern side with Togo, in the west side with the Ivory Coast. English-speaking countries. Most of these countries now French-speaking countries. The money you say some of these countries, they be because of say war is setting in within their countries. Most of their people flee in as refugees into our country, and of us on Kroma. Ubakwa koton kode bi omo ses rade ese omo free Niger omatumi atwemu free Mali atwemu to Burkina ewurem into our country. Now yen krom hanam na ba be hostage and Niger for we gu krom offer se wokọ kaswa ba be the second home of Nigerians. Now no that meeting Nigeria for ba be ji eden bi wo honom o mugum cho Nigeria for ba be ji dan bi wo kwada so mugum cho offer. And then we are in a country that our defense, our security system is so weak. It's in Kemase, Russia and Nibeba Ukrum ha at the metal glass about the fireman torch. Same as we did to Krum Komo. Of a fireman torch. Here we are. Not the Minister of Communication, I can't say. Of a but say. And Komono, oh, trim dodo. Of a mean trim, yeah, but say.
Because a cream say Africa nyina yen kan yen humu. Yen sha say West Africa. Na yen tre yen kura batem. Ni yen ma ho kwan. Ma se mi fi ha e ko Nigeria eni se mi jefesa. Me ko Burkina Faso, me ko Mali, me ko hen. Ese se ye kekan yen hu bom me ko Cote d'Ivoire anyesa.
Offer. Matthias.
This is all prayer no. Den as a Nigeria for Ghana. No man be high down no mutimu a. Ese say how?
Offer.
Me ba. Den na Togo for Ghana. No mu su be didwa. Se nye kro no no mu bebo. Ana omu be ye bibi e betia ye mra. Enema ye hwehwe no. Sa na de bebre.
Offer emphasize mre.
Na uma free market. O pin o borders. To allow for union so munyina ni dwa yenso yenko ne yenko didwa. Other African countries omma
offer omeba. Ba no mo ba no. If they are coming on a purpose of business things on my I don't have problem with them.
Na de omba
but offer bisa ho se san kwada na omugu kurum no offer say we dey use car.
Okay, so o kan kwala na sem.
Yes.
Enu mini uni asem. A concern for all of us.
Yeah.
The bit about other foreigners abba no ma behind dying. Then you tied in the Russian.
Sa omono offer.
Meba mesrawa. See, you create more ya ma kwese. Ye ma no omu ni dignity. I say omu ne omu ho meba. Because enkomo mu di no krom high in the last 2-3 weeks. To say akwa bi aba no abefa ye ma no fofofo no ne ye ma na da. Monso nkomo amudi no krom ha obi ahu video obi a one obi da monso mo ye ene ma na ye cheap ene ma mpacho oba ni mu ne wen no ne da ye
offer there be say men ka so me cheap but offer me person me
say so abesisa ye men because of the signal obo way
ene me person me say we are in our country offer the so-called security agencies on Wokrum and offer or borderlines on Momo technology and every system of our country is very weak.
Nimisa wata. But wako Ghana border ni biya so da.
Ofa. Mako biya so da sa.
Okay.
Mako biya so da.
Baby a wako biya. One was here the gate bitum.
Ofa obi ATM aden.
Minim your team. Koma me no dimenti obi asa. Asema mi bisa nse. Wako akoto say atum na o ba this ye biu.
Ofa. Your tomb all right. But do you know say we have some of the illegal routes. These immigration people and some are making omunim. Some illegal route omunimas in Crawford said your two main borderlines no both with the raw mining. They know it. And a honor the JF for the raw mining.
Sa
a honor and a Burkina for the raw mining.
Sa na Ghana jadi for no. Omukoko didwa. Sa no omunsura sa to krodi mu awoka. Eko Burkina Faso ho. Eko Cote d'Ivoire, eko Nigeria, eko for business. Ewura sa hwa de ba.
Ofam do mo fa like this way.
Me no ya adwen say, esese ye bo ye mbodess na ho ban. Said ye be ya, ye betimi abo ye man Ghana ye bo ho ban. But ye nkomo a titiriu ne wo mo a ahwere wo mo nkwa.
Yeah.
Mempese me come na ye say obi awu na enhame. But omo efa desert na so kopeska omo wu no. Mon kan omo ho asem.
Of omo de.
Omo de. Omo nya Ghana for.
Of eti.
Omo etina ship so say omo kope, omo dada braba, omo hwere omo nkwan. Omo dosu. Yanti ase say. Oman a obi tu kwan a. Ompese obekra. Pese ode na chibeja nti yeti krom hai omo kofa ne ma free Nigeria eba ye ni mo dudu o ti ase ebi fa kwati kwan so ena kofa ne ma ba
eba
ebi fa kwan tene na so
ena kofa ba
enne ye ka so bia odidwa wo Nigeria Ghana ha omra no metro ni din na ye hu se de be ya ye betimi abo omo ho ban why ye nya nipa 5 so omo nko
of anything na my system ni ye weak ku mu hanu
enti ase ayen ya o man ma ne ye wo no eno ena esese ye sesa no edwa no a wo kodi no oso ope aban bambo ye ka kire o mo ekodi dwa Nigeria so obi a metro ni din a obeka se ye ba ye be hwe ne tax esese otua ene adie nti no onye Inti aban no wasudi. But ye kuroma no. Esese yenso ye ka kire yen ho se. Wabisa ho se ntia. Omo e carry ska ko Burkina Faso ni ade no. Emfa ska ni nwura kuayom. Wabisa ho se ntia. Nkoko fo famo. Capital omo de famo ba. So omo de se ska na ewura
kuayom a.
Emu a. Nka Ghana benya mo ahwe ye hu nti ade no mo ye nsa because that's the business they want to get themselves into. Nti I agree as I say create an enabling environment but a business nkoko kofa ne mafiri amanone e de ba de obetimi aya ne say you impose more taxes on omo e kofa ba so that they are distracted and invest in Ghana and now say government had the package ebema womo person womo kofam niema ba that they come together na omo investment na nko omo de kofa free obi man so ba ye dey invest wa ha na government support omo in terms of protection they said President Mahama in his first coming he created some business environment that gave loans to people these pharmaceuticals and we can get into that direction but specifics there it is always a competitive market. Oko jaswa. You tomatoes
offer. Tiasia say your system you weak. Offer.
I have not disputed
system. O catch me say mako borderlines ni nyina so no. Offer odru borderlines ne so and abem say Ghana ye mobo.
The borderline nya Ghana nkwa na wo so. Ye ne Togo nyina na wo ho. Minim ye ne Cote d'Ivoire nyina na wo ho. Togo, Cote d'Ivoire ye nyina saa.
And abem say because offer. Say you are working. See your system, not any data, you put two things in concern. We have specific people moving in from our country, in our borderlines, into our country. You have specific data, you have specific system, checking most of these things. That free baby, and they say we illegal thing. Oko developing now. They have systems, they have data. They tracking every business.
Drinks. Yes, as ode stamp bi boss. We bisa ho ne ntia omom pese de stamp no boss ma won.
Say ni nyina so no. Ofa.
But anopay there
some come na ba be Tracy food and drugs board on come
na woodi no. Ehia ye beto so na watwi. But me misa o adentina ya na eye wo den say wo be fa oba ba akopena na ne be nante.